Let's talk intentional torts. More specifically, who can be held responsible for an intentional tort? One of the most common questions I get from law students and bar exam takers is who can actually be held responsible for an intentional tort. Now, the general rule to remember here is that insane people, small children, and intellectually disabled people can all be held liable for committing intentional torts. Example, Harry, acting under the delusion that he's a superhero, punches Ron because he believes that Ron is an evil wizard. Harry would have the requisite intent here to commit a battery, an intentional tort that we've probably covered in a dozen other videos at this point, because he intended an unpermitted touching of Ron. Here, Harry's insanity is irrelevant. Let's move on now to a couple additional points. Keep in mind that when it comes to intentional torts, if a defendant has the requisite intent to commit the underlying tort, the defendant's underlying motivation for the act is irrelevant. Also keep in mind that if a defendant has the requisite intent, it's irrelevant if she was mistaken, reasonably or unreasonably about the facts. Example, Dr. Octavius had a patient's consent to operate on the patient's right ear, but not the left ear. After the patient was under anesthesia, Dr. Octavius discovered that the left ear was diseased and the right ear was entirely healthy. Dr. Octavius then performs an entirely successful operation on the patient's left ear without consent. Here, Dr. Octavius could be liable for battery because he intended to touch the patient's left ear without consent. Dr. Octavius' good motive here to cure the disease of the left ear is irrelevant when it comes to determining whether he committed an intentional tort, because the underlying intent to commit the act, here in touching the left ear while unpermitted and not having the consent of the party, is what really matters. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for more of these videos on intentional torts on all law school and bar exam topics. Be sure to check us out at barcastaudio.com. If you want audio outlines, essay attack sheets, whatever you may need for the bar exam, we have it for you. Until then, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye now.